For 2 years now, we've been keeping vigil for the people of Yemen at Union Square, Tompkins Square, and Astor Place in New York City, and also at the United States and Saudi missions to the United Nations. There's no way I could sum up what these vigils have meant to those who participated in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to read one article from the World Peace Foundation dated October 9th, 2018. This article concerns the destruction of food production in Yemen that has been carried out by the Saudi coalition. The report is available from the World Peace Foundation, entitled Strategies of the Coalition in the Yemen War. The report offers unique data and graphics documenting 1. A pattern of aerial bombardment across the duration of the armed conflict, including information about the proportion of military, civilian, and unknown targets, and the timeline, frequency, and location of targeting. 2. The pattern of targeting agricultural sites in Yemen, displayed over time and across governance, the types of agricultural sites targeted, and the frequency of targeting. 3. The systematic pattern of targeting fishermen, boats, and installations. This report gives an overview, not available elsewhere, of the impact of the coalition bombing campaign on food production and distribution in rural Yemen and on fishing along the Red Sea coast. The timing of its release appears opportune. Press coverage of this forgotten war has increased. There is some diplomatic and political movement, and the report on human rights violations during the Yemen war, prepared under the aegis of the group of eminent experts, has been submitted to the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. Warnings of the risk of mass starvation echo ever more shrilly. It is high time that citizens, parliamentarians, and civil organizations do all they can to end a conflict now well into its 4th year. If one places the damage to the resources of food producers, farmers, herders, and fishers alongside the targeting of food processing, storage, and transport in urban areas, and the wider economic war, there is strong evidence that the coalition strategy has aimed to destroy food production and distribution in the areas under the control of Sana'a. As described above, from the autumn of 2016, economic war has compounded physical destruction to create a mass failure in basic livelihoods. Deliberate destruction of family farming and artisanal fishing is a war crime. Yemen, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, and France are all signatories to the 1977 Protocol 1 addition to the Geneva Conventions, which gives the fullest statement in international humanitarian law on the protection of objects indispensable to the survival of the civilian population. This report concludes with a call to action. If the coalition war in Yemen is not to mark the erasure of legal reference in war, other forces and institutions will need to call into question the blanket legitimacy accorded the coalition to date by the world's highest legal body, the UN Security Council. If UN Security Council Resolution 2417, passed in May of 2018, condemning starvation of civilians in wartime, is to be meaningful, then it is necessary for the Security Council and its member states to halt such crimes in Yemen, to investigate them, and to call to account those responsible for perpetrating them. The report also documents the killing of fishermen along the Yemeni Red Sea coast, destruction of boats and infrastructure required to support small-scale fishing that otherwise would provide life-saving food for a civilian population on the brink of famine. The increased risk of famine globally today, after decades of decline, is a result of the pursuit of military objectives and political priorities without any regard to human suffering, said Alex DeWaal, Executive Director of the World Peace Foundation. Today, starvation is being inflicted on people in South Sudan, northern Nigeria, Syria, and Yemen. Yemen poses a particularly acute challenge for the United States and United Kingdom, who are the key allies of Saudi Arabia, which leads the coalition and supporters of a war effort that systematically and repeatedly flaunts international law, destroys the national economy, and devastates the civilian population. This from the World Peace Foundation on October 9th.